Ooh,
There you
okay,
go.
I'm recording. There we go. Now we're recording.
Yeah, I feel that. I spent like all afternoon yesterday, and then so me and Maria Bilke like set up, plan to like go to dinner, and like asked our group chat like, hey, if anybody like wants to come, whatever. And our friend Kelsey was like, oh yeah, like, but I'm at work until 8. And then she didn't get off of work until 9.
Did you guys wait for her?
Yeah, and then
Oh my God.
she didn't leave until 9:16, and she works in Brookfield. So then it was a 25-minute drive, like, here. So we didn't get food until like 10 o'clock, and I was like, well, now I'm brain dead, and like, now I've eaten, but I don't want to work on this project at 11 o'clock.
No, you do not. We could wait just a couple more minutes to see if anybody else comes. And then, I don't know, we can just start asking questions.
Yeah.
So,
Sophia like texted me, and it sounded like she was like, I don't know, like changing her mind. She was like, did you guys like change it to Q&A for me? And she was like, I don't even know if I should like come because it's for like people already
yeah,
like, no, Sophia, this is like,
it's okay.
Well, yeah, because I mean, Sophia will, she'll be doing her audition at the end of spring semester. So,
yeah,
I mean, people are welcome to learn more about it. So, yeah, that's fine. I just found one part of what I was looking for. For Zach, I got to find the choral sight reading from spring. I was going to use that one to show you how we do that part of it. So I gotta remember where I put it.
Oh, also, Dr. Fisher, I still have my ukulele for folk instrument technique. Is there a way we can like schedule a time to bring that back to 360?
Yes. So we need to figure out how to, because I don't actually know what my schedule is going to be on campus this week because of exams and everything else.
Right.
Are you on campus?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
close campus? My house is, just across from the physics building, so it'll be probably just as easy for you to drop it off at my house as to take it to the music building.
Yeah.
So that might be the easier way to do it.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Rodrigo's
here
coming
until
in.
the 19th. So.
Pardon me?
I'm here until the 19th. So.
Until the 19th. Okay. Yeah, I mean this week, I basically I'm gonna be home. I don't think I have reason that I have to go to campus, unless something comes up. So, I'll email you the address, and
Okay.
You can just text me and let me know. Put my phone number on there, or email, and just let me know when you're coming. And if nobody answers the door, we have an enclosed porch, so you could just leave it there, and as long as I know it's coming, I'll get it picked up.
Okay.
That way it can be off your responsibilities. So,
yeah.
So are we here? Is Rodrigo wanting to play for us, or just sit in on conversation about what's coming up?
What do you mean play for you?
We didn't know whether you wanted to play your jury piece before you had recorded, or if you've already recorded and submitted.
Actually, I have a question. Is this referring to the music ed jury? Because I have no idea when that takes place.
Actually, well, you'll do a version of it at the end of spring. It's the final exam for the MusEd 350 course. It's your audition into the program.
Oh, is that intro the teaching.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's very much like it. If you want to hang out with us and hear a little bit about, because then every semester after that, you will do the Mus Ed jury.
Oh, no, I just saw the email and I realized, well, there's a lot I don't know about I know that I think for the Mus Ed jury, we have to do sight singing,
Yes.
a little bit of piano playing, I think,
Yes.
my instrument playing, and then the first one is an interview, has an interview.
Right.
And I wasn't gonna stop by today because I have to record my jury in an hour, but I realized I was like, wow, there is a lot I don't know.
So we'd be happy to hear your jury piece before you record it if you'd like.
You you want me to play it? Well, I don't know. I haven't even warmed up today. That's what I was gonna spend this hour doing.
Yeah, Rodrigo, you don't have to if you don't want to,
No, we
but it's
just
just an
wanted to-
option
yeah.
if you'd like to. But if you want, all four of us have done like the intro class and the audition. So if you have questions about it, we could answer some things about that. And then we were also going to talk about what Dr. Faye Shaw was talking about, those subsequent music ed juries that you'll do every semester after. But we can also talk about, we can also talk about that first one that you'll do at the end of the spring, because we all have done that before and experienced it.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter to me a whole lot.
Okay.
I don't think I'll be playing though.
Yeah, no problem. That's fine. Dr. Faye Shaw, do you want to talk about kind of the difference between that first one and then what happens on all the subsequent ones?
Yep. So for part of the whole idea of the Mus Ed juries is the fact that we assess those areas for your audition with the intent that those are skills that are everyday skills that you use as a music educator. And so moving forward, we want to make sure that you're not forgetting about any of those skills and that you continue to keep them fresh. And I know 3 of you are going to be in the keyboard score reading class with me next semester. So the piano part, I tried to make the piano part of what you're doing for the choral side of this one just a little bit easier. So it doesn't like totally freak you out the first time around since you haven't had that other class yet. And then in the spring, we'll up the ante a little bit because you all will be at the end of that course just a little bit for that part of it. So for everybody, there is a piano component. If you're in the choral general program, you get either a choral score, usually a 4-part score. I don't think we've used an open score. I'm trying to remember. I don't think so. I think we've always used like a chorale arrangement visually for that part of it. And we have you play that. And it has to be at a singable tempo because if we were in person, all of us would be singing along with you. Virtually, we stay muted, but we do sing along with you. So we're trying to see that part of it, of how it feels. And then often we will ask you to play like the soprano and tenor part together, or soprano and bass part together, or something like that. So we try to grab that piece of kind of the skill of a choral score as well. Question, Katie? I can tell you're.
Yeah. So when we first play through it, what combination of things do we need? Like left hand, right hand melody, and we have to sing along, or just left-handed sing?
You don't have to sing at all.
Okay.
We're just playing it as if you were playing it for us singing, which we're going to be along with you.
So do I need just the melody then?
No, you need the whole thing.
Okay.
That's why we give you a week to work on. And what we say is do whatever you have to make it playable for you. Now, the good thing this particular time, I actually found one that just has soprano, alto, bass to it. So an SAB arrangement of it. And so if, you know, if you need to play soprano and bass and every once in a while pick up the alto or whatever it is you need to do, you need to think of it that way. You got to be able to play it, get us started with it, and play it through along with us. Okay. So make it what it needs to be for you to be able to do it. Kate or Sarah, sorry.
So is that piece that you sent us yesterday, is that the piano part and the singing part? Like, do we sing it after we play it?
No, there's a whole different one, and I'll show you an example for that part of it. So no, that is just you're playing your piano playing part, and you're playing for us to sing, for your piano to sing. Okay.
And then the piano, so we're just playing the three parts. We're not adding like an accompaniment to it.
No.
You're just
playing what's there on the page. Yep.
Okay. Cool.
We try to keep it, you know, kind of straightforward in those terms. And then for Olivia and for the other instrumental people, and Zach, we won't make you do both piano things. I want you to do the choral piano part, but you will do the playing by sight essentially for both instruments. We've been alternating, but I think moving forward, at least for right now, we're going to be working with both parts of it. So for Olivia, and she kind of knows this, the instrumental people get a piece of music that's kind of like an elementary general music piece. So folk song. Usually I try to find one that doesn't have chords written in on it. So they have to determine the chords that would be played along with it, and then create an appropriate accompaniment to play with it. And again, we sing along, so it has to be at that playable tempo idea for it. Okay. And for a group of people coming up that are doing just general music, they actually will do sight singing on an elementary general music kind of piece as well. And so will the instrumental people. So that we've added because we want to make sure the sight singing part stays active as well. So Olivia knows that we'll throw something at her, kind of like you did for your auditions level of things. So simple folk melody that we'll expect for the sight singing part of it for the instrumentalists. Then the instrumentalists, and here's where, let me see if I had it open. Did I dock it here? Let me check. No, that's not what I want. Hang on, I had the site material up here a second ago. Where did I put it? Here we go. This is what we used in the spring. All right, so let me see if I can share my screen. Wait, there it is. It moved. So for the instrumentalists, then you get a piece of music. So Zach, like this would be an example for trombone. And what we would ask you to do with it is take a look at it as if this was a piece you were going to be introducing to a student for the first time. And one thing that you're going to try to think about is what level of student would you be giving it to? And that could be grade level or like developmental level idea there. And then you want to look through it. And this is your opportunity to look through, because you're going to play it for us. Then this is kind of your sight playing that happens. But you're going to look for things that you'd want to point out to the student, or things that you think they might need to work on in order to accomplish the piece and be successful with it. So Olivia's there, right? Olivia, are you listening in?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. So if you were taking a look at this and it's for trombone, but just give Zach an idea of because you've had trombone fundies and all of that. What, as you look at this, would you anticipate that you would need to work on with a student to help them be successful?
Well, specifically with trombone, I would think that all the running eighth notes would be difficult just because they have to move their slides pretty quickly and they have to make sure they're not glistening between the notes. So that's a technical thing they need to work on. Also, it is a pretty wide range of notes as well. So making sure that the tone is good in both like the bottom part of the range, what is that? That's like a low B flat, all the way up to the highest note, which I cannot see.
I think it's an E flat.
No, it's
an
F.
F. You've got an F. Yep, you've got an F up there.
Yeah, so that's like a pretty big range when you think about it, especially for like a young player. So making sure that especially with trombone, they're flexible between all of that. So that would be a challenge.
Okay. What are some of the other things that you might point out in the score that you want the student to pay attention to as they're working on it?
Well, talking about the style of it, probably, with the tempo especially.
Okay.
And there's some dynamics. There's not a whole lot.
Good.
But pointing out that there are dynamics that they should be looking at.
That was the other part that I was noticing. You've got some crescendo and you've got some natural crescendo, decrescendo kinds of things that, you could talk about too, that the ascending lines naturally tend to get louder and descending lines kind of naturally tend to decrescendo a little bit. And so some of it has been marked, but you could also use that as, just a thought process for the young player to work on as well. So Zach, does that give you some idea of the kinds of things that we're looking for you to tell us?
Yeah.
Okay. And then with all that in mind, either one of you two, what developmental level would this be for a player?
Well, keeping into account that like high F, that is at least probably like early high school, if not even a little bit later, kind of depending on the development of the student. But even then, sometimes those high Fs can be even kind of like towards the middle of high school.
Okay. So that's the other part that we're always looking for you to tell us is kind of, who would you pick this out to give it to based on their development. So those are the kinds of things on the instrumental side that we look for you to be able to do in terms of analyzing the piece. So if I take the same idea then to show the choral side of it, and then I just have to get down here to those other files. I did find them. If I can just remember where, here we go. Okay, so what we will do, and again, this is a little bit harder because it's virtual. If we were in person, I'd be sitting down at the piano to play for you. But because of that, I actually have created a recording. So when you get to your jury, we'll be sending you the recording by email that you'll need to pull up because we want it to be on the same timing that you're trying to sing. I don't want to be playing it for you here and have you trying to match up with things there. So this is the piece of music that we used in the spring for it. So let me see if I can share that with you as well so that we can take a look. Here we go. Let me see. Can I figure out how to make it bigger? I used to know how to do that.
I do have to get going because I do have to get fancied up, and I do got to get warmed up on my instrument. But for how little I have been here, it's been nice learning a few things about what to expect in the future.
Great. And we'll help you out some more when you get close to it.
All right.
Thank you for coming, Rodrigo.
Of course.
Have a good
Bye.
recording, at least.
I hope so.
All right. I can't figure out how to make this bigger. Let me try it this way. Hang on. If I go back to the document itself.
What about that magnifying glass with the 3 dots?
Wait,
on the top
there.
left?
Let me try. Yeah, let me try that.
Oh, that was not it.
It's just going find. Let me see if it will.
Yeah, it should come up on like the top of the page or the bottom of the page, and it's like hasn't been when you're hovering there. So I don't know.
Couldn't
Right,
you just
that's
do
what I'm
like
trying-
Command plus, like to? I don't know. That's what I always do when I try to zoom in on the screen.
Let me stop sharing for just a minute and see if I can make it bigger.
Oh, what about at the bottom?
And then go. Yeah, see there? Now it will. So
Yeah, it came up right when you were closing it.
okay. So now let me share again because I could not find it on my screen when I was doing that. All right. So what we do again is pretty much the same thing. So you're looking at a piece of vocal music, and we always help you kind of look through it. This one was two pages, so we give you a chance to be able to look at it, and we're going to ask you the same things. Who would it be appropriate to give it to work on, and what are some of the challenges and things that they might face looking at it? So Katie and Sarah, Zach, you can throw ideas out here too, because this is the place where you're going to do your sight singing. So what do you see, Katie?
Well, right. Oh, sorry.
Well, I'm trying to just look at it in terms of a key, and it's a little difficult to imagine with the accidentals, so that might be hard for any student really, because key signature says F major, D minor, but it's not really doing either one of those. It's more of G minor or major. I don't even know. Wait. Okay, it would be G minor. And it also like it doesn't have a ton of leaps, but it does kind of cover a lot of the staff. Yeah, that is the first.
Okay, Sarah.
And the time signature is also kind of weird.
Okay, Sarah, what do you see?
Yeah, I was also going to say all the chromatics for some students, like being a little sharp or a little flat is really common. So especially like those F sharps, making sure that you're not going to F, because that might sound like tonic with the key signature that you have. And yeah, I was going to say for younger students, a lot of times they're taught that like quarter note is the beat, when like that's not always the case. And like this time signature, I don't even know like what that means. 3?
Well,
is it 3 2?
What's it mean?
It looks like it's 3 2 because it looks like the half note gets the beat and there's 3 half notes in the first measure. So that's what I would think.
Okay, so you're right. They're basically telling you there's 3 counts in a measure. And so you're figuring it out. The way that they've put it together here, we're counting half notes for it. So
Okay.
it's so what else do you see along with the parts here?
It looks like there's a lute line. I don't know.
Okay, so
Um,
think about that. If there's a lute part that goes with it, what are you going to guess about this piece?
It's like very early.
Yes. Okay. So that's why the 3/2 idea, probably wasn't the thing necessarily. It probably was just written kind of with notes, with the feeling of three, not necessarily notated more exactly like that in its original form. So the lute part is one of the things that you would want to point out to a student to say, don't let that throw you off as you're figuring out where your line is to follow.
Sure.
You
And
kind of have to jump over the lute part.
yeah, and it being early probably is the reason why it kind of doesn't adhere to like tonality
Exactly.
rules.
Okay, so those are all the kinds of things that we're looking for you to know about it as you're talking about, because what you're telling us is you can figure out using your music history background where this fits kind of into the picture of things, and then some things about the music from that period, and you're going to help a student know those things a little bit along the way with it. And you're right, that's why the whole tonality idea is not quite as this would have been before some of the
Music theory.
well, and some of the specific, what the heck am I looking for? It's the tempered scale, oh Lord, my vocabulary is like out the window today. But yeah, it's going to have a slightly different sense of tonality to it than the other would have. So let's see whether my computer is going to allow me. We figured out how to do this the other night. Let's see if I can play the accompaniment for you, and you can try to sort of whistle or hum along.
Dr. Fayshaw, I have a question.
Yep.
So for this part of the jury, when do we receive this music and the accompaniment? Is it the day of, or do we get it in advance to practice?
It's the moment of. You don't get, this is your sight singing.
Oh, okay. So the sight singing and this part are like the same thing.
Yes. So hang on. It started here. Let me find. I'm going to stop it and go back and start it again here. Can you hear that? Could you? It was coming through. Okay. All right. So we'll try it once. But yeah, so that's the whole idea, is as you're looking for what the challenges would be for someone, you're also looking at it as, what does this sound like when I sing it? How is that going to go? The other thing in this particular one that you want to point out is all of the repeats, that the sections, you sing it and then it repeats and then you go on, and then that one repeats and then you go on. So that one, just in terms of giving the roadmap to your students for it. Okay. So, and I think I used the tail end of, I can't remember if it's the A or the B section as the introduction. It's been too long since I recorded this one, but let's give it a shot and see what you can hear. So
accompaniment recording for If My Complaints Could Passions Move. I will give you a 4-measure introduction, the last 4 bars of the first section.
Okay, so I gave you the specifics. So you're at I suffer wrong. So here your starting pitch. The other challenge to this one is the piano part does not play the vocal line. B section. That's the other little tricky hitch right there, is this is a double measure. Last section. Okay. Yes, Sarah.
Okay, I have a couple questions. So, when we're doing this part for like this semester, we'll have the accompaniment track to play on our end, but then are we viewing the sheet music like through like screen sharing? Like we don't get that to print out or anything?
Well, what I was trying to figure out, I think last time we might have screen shared it. I can put it on the same email, but you won't have time to print it out, but you could have it so that you have scroll control.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to do that because this particular one for this semester is actually to like 2.5 pages. And so I want you to be able to move it as you feel comfortable with it. And we will all have it
Okay.
on our computers as well. So the screen share is not vital for us.
Okay, yeah, because I think last semester I struggled on the sight singing with like trying to view it through the screen sharing, so that would definitely be helpful. And then for the choral part of this section, are the words like if we don't get all the words out, like can we sing it on like a neutral syllable or do we have to do it on the words?
No, you don't have to do it on the text. You can just do it on a neutral, because very often when you're first introducing a new piece to a student, you might have them do it on a neutral,
Okay.
so that they're not trying to absorb everything at once. So
Sure.
yeah, and again, that's something that you could talk about when you're talking about what the challenges would be as well. And then what we do is after, and Zach, this is for you as well, after you do the sight, either sight singing or sight playing, then we ask you, is there anything else that you want to tell us about it or anything you want to change about what you said? So it could be that when you first looked at it that you thought it would be appropriate for middle school or whatever, and then you get done singing, you're like, oh no, this would definitely not be a middle school, So we take that as we don't necessarily expect you to absolutely know it the first time. You can decide that, yes, you made a mistake and it would be better to do it differently for that. So we don't mind that part of it.
Cool. So the whole thing is just the piano one that you already sent us and we're playing that and then this, and choral people would have something like this, and instrumental people would have something like the other one you showed, and that's like the whole thing.
Right. So for the instrumentalists, they play their piano piece for us. They do the assessment of the instrumental piece and playing that by sight, and then they also have a sight singing of like an elementary piece, just like your audition kind of piece was. But for the choral people, your sight singing is right within, you know, within the piece that you're doing for.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Zach has a question.
Yes.
So for like me specifically, so I'm doing like, am I doing both the like the etude and like this style, right?
Yes. So you're going to do your sight singing on the choral part.
Okay.
You'll do this playing by sight on your trombone. So you won't have to do another sight singing thing on the instrumental side of it, because your sight singing will be done on the choral side of it.
Okay. Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions they want to ask while we're here? No?
Oh, and then I'll do the piano one. So the piano one, this
The piano on
style,
choral,
and then
right.
the etude style.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you don't have, I didn't send you both pianos. I don't think I put you on both of those.
No.
I think I just sent you the choral piano. Yeah, because I'll figure that you can do the other part if you can do the choral part.
Yeah.
I know
This one's
Katie's
definitely gonna take me.
freaking out about the piano, but it's okay. Just, and Katie, the way that I would work on it this week is go through and practice playing soprano and alto together, so you get your right hand to flow. Practice the left hand, make sure you can play that where it's going. Then try soprano and bass, and then try adding your alto in, and start slow with all three, and then just try to bring tempo up. Figure out if there are places in it that you tend to get off or that tend to be a little harder. Figure out what can you let go of in those parts that you, and then bring them back in as soon as you can bring them back. Okay, so the flow is what's most important for us. And if at some point you have to just go to the right hand, you know, and then bring the bass back in, then that's what you do. But what we want to have is for you to keep it flowing along for us to sing. Okay.
Dr. Fayshaw, do you have any other like advice of like what we should practice this week or anything like that?
No, it's just mostly when you come to do it, this is practical. So don't freak out about it. We very seldom assess that somebody hasn't been successful on their whole audition. You could be emerging on one section of it and still be fine. If you hit to where you're emerging on two sections, that's when we start to get a little nervous. But most of the time, once we've accepted you, that's why we go through the audition process. And for auditions, you can't be emerging on more than one area to move forward. And then that's the area that we know we need to support you working on with things as well. So for all of you, we kind of know where your weaknesses are, and we're just looking to try to help you move forward on those areas. He's trying to shrink out of it, like, and luckily 332 next semester will be a nice small group, so there will be no place to hide, and we'll all be working together on things.
Awesome. Does anybody else have any questions before I end the recording? No? All right, I'm gonna stop the recording now. Boop.